Evening, everybody, and welcome to Going for Two, the only YouTube podcast in human recorded history to feature a male and female host drinking our way through the important topics of the day, as long as they touch the football world and not in that way. Hi, Sharona, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. I am not a crook.
So you're not employed by the National Football League then?
Exactly.
I'm kind of enjoying, there are times when I'm like, how come I've been writing about fantasy football forever, and I'm just kind of doing what I have been doing for the last decade? But I kind of like being out of the loop in a way because I don't have to mess with everything going on, this constant nonsense, the Patriots, NFL that will never die, and DFS.
The Patriots do your job. Report last night, and I read it, and so I was up until just wading through it. I was taking a look at some other things too, and so it was like 1 o'clock before I got in bed. And, it was interesting. I said I wasn't going to look at this latest article, but of course I did because I'm a masochist and can't seem to help myself. And it's just fascinating to me. It's fascinating to me how, first of all, how it was covered, because that was infuriating at times. And secondly, how easily the NFL got away with what they got away with. And so, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I guess the owners are happy. That's really all that matters as far as Roger Goodell is concerned. As long as the owners are happy, he's good. Are the owners happy? I don't know.
The steady stream of cash that will be coming in is going to be something else.
Yeah.
Now, I'm just going to, this is definitely a tangent episode because, I wrote about 4 words of notes this evening. So what do you think? I think this was tweeted out. Somebody mentioned that it's actually going to become an issue this year for NFL teams because fans aren't actually going to show up to the games because they get the beautiful view from their own TV.
Yeah, and streaming is the wonderful world of streaming is upon us finally, which I'm so extremely excited about. It's there have been little pockets here and there, but CBS just announced that they're going to stream their games, and if you don't understand how huge that is, let me tell you, that is huge. And so, very, very, very interesting. And I mean, why would you pay? I mean, how much when it's just you go to the game, you have a couple of beers, maybe eat something. How much does that run you? I know the tickets is family thing, but if you had to purchase the tickets, how much would that cost you?
I'm guessing that I think each seat that my parents have of the 3, they're like $75 a pop or something. That counts preseason. because I just signed up, and this is not NFL, but I signed up for the Missouri Alumni Group is going to Athens, Georgia, which is an hour from me, and I had to hold off on buying a ticket just because it's $75 for the ticket plus a $20 fee, and that's for me to
Those
get in the
fees will get you.
stadium. So I was thinking the last time Missouri played at Georgia, I actually hung out with the Missouri fans before the game. And then I went to a Belgian beer bar and watched the game there and had a lot of fun. And there was nobody there but me. And it was really cool. And I'm like, there are a bunch of really cool breweries in Athens. Maybe I go to one of those. I don't know. But you can get, I don't know, are you doing like Sunday Ticket through Xbox or whatever box you got?
I am doing Game Pass.
Talking about video games, people. Oh, you're talking the post where you can watch it after the fact?
Well, you can watch some games live on the way I've got it. I'm streaming, and so what I do is I've got a laptop hooked up to my TV and through an HDMI cable, and I stream it on my laptop and watch it on my TV.
That's intriguing, yeah, because I had to get cable mainly so I could watch football, and that doesn't really include any Sunday stuff. Like I don't have Red Zone, I don't have Sunday Ticket, so I'm actually going to a sports bar this Sunday with
Oh, are you?
Drew Kester, who's in town because he is working on a TV show and he's a big Vikings fan. Although the Vikings don't play, that's a weird scheduling quirk. Like usually the Monday night late game is two West Coast teams, but this year it's San Francisco and the Vikings because I don't know. Maybe they don't want to make a big deal about Adrian Peterson's return to the NFL. I don't know. What do you think?
It didn't seem to phase them for Family Day. I don't know. I legitimately, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what agenda the NFL and its respective teams are pushing currently in this 5-minute window. Seems to be a moving target.
I think the NFL, their siren song is this right here.
Yeah.
That's really all it is.
Straight catch, homie.
Okay, so because we are legitimately excited about the games coming up, but maybe one more actual real life issue before we get started. So Andy Moeller, is that how you pronounce his name?
Yes.
Offensive line coach. The Browns have one of the best offensive lines in the National Football League, but their coach got into a little bit of hot water this week. What happened there?
Yeah, it was really weird. There were reports coming out over the weekend, the long Labor Day holiday weekend, that something had happened. There had been an incident report that the police were investigating, and as soon as you started, and so he got indefinitely, he took an indefinite leave of absence, I believe is how it was termed, for a very serious incident. And I knew right then it was domestic violence. I mean, I knew right then, but we didn't find out until Monday. I think that's what it was. And his former fiance, she, as victims tend to do, has withdrawn her complaint, and but the report and the 911 call has been obtained and released, and that's what it was. And the 911 call, it indicates it was not the first time this had happened, and that's another hallmark of abuse.
But at least it seems that the NFL has done something. I don't know. Has the NFL really done anything?
They talked a lot about it.
They have a policy with coaches? I don't even recall, other than like bounty gate, coaches ever getting any kind of penalty.
It is interesting. The coaches, the NFL coaches, I believe they have their own union. As I understand it, the interpretation is that club employees fall within that umbrella. I mean, we're definitely seeing what teams do. What the NFL has done is let teams, and of course, there's always behind the scenes pressure. I don't think though that technically, I'm not actually sure. I do know though that Major League Baseball just redid its domestic violence policy. It was collectively bargained, and as part of those negotiations, that collective bargaining process, it was agreed that coaches do and management do fall within that umbrella. It's a good question. I don't remember. I don't want to say the wrong answer. I don't remember whether the NFL actually considers coaches. I think that they consider them subject to the conduct policy. I don't think technically. I think that might be an issue. I don't think technically they are, though. I'm not sure where it stands there.
But the Browns got ahead of things and gave the guy a boot.
Well, he took a leave of absence, right?
Well, I feel like that sort of thing happened last year with Greg
Which
Hardy and
is
Adrian
which is
Peterson. They kind of pushed it.
yes, exactly.
You're suspended,
That's what
but in those guys' cases, they kept getting paid, especially Greg Hardy, because of the franchise tag, man. That was like $1 million a
yeah.
week. So
It's like the coach's version of the exempt list.
there are many jobs you get suspended with pay, but that's
Yeah, and it's really kind of funny because, and I understand people hate Roger Goodell and the NFL league office and whan, teams cheat and all of that. I mean, I understand that. Um, and what the league did with Adrian Peterson and Ray Rice was wrong. You can't punish somebody twice. You can't do that. But on the other hand, I mean, these guys were suspended, but they got their full salary. They got a nice paid vacation, and for Adrian Peterson, it let him have a completely insane birthday party. Rah rah.
I think we're just upset that we weren't invited, right?
Oh yes. Let me cry in my beer.
So I would consider, of course, not the same reasons that the NFL did it, but getting suspended with pay sounds like an item for the bucket list.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty good gig if you can. But I mean, I don't mean to make light. I mean, it is for us. Before, I mean, especially a running back, and that's what we're talking about in Adrian Peterson and Ray Rice's situation. Peterson had the fortunate occurrence of being good the last time he saw the football field, and Ray Rice was not. And so, that's why one is back in the fold, being adored on Family Day, and is currently being drafted in the top 5 of your latest fantasy draft.
Hell yeah, he is.
I mean, I'm scared. I'm not buying. Rah rah. I hope it works. I'm not doing it. It doesn't. I don't think it has anything to do with what he was alleged to have done, and what the photos showed us what he did. I just don't. Where he's going, I'm not comfortable drafting him.
Well, full disclosure, I did finish my last MFL 10, MFL 25, and in one of them I did take Adrian Peterson, #1 overall, because as I covered this week in my blog, I actually posted something new this week. I just decided to do a little recap of all the teams I drafted, because I started drafting in June, just what happened to those teams 2 months later, and some of them turned out horribly, and some of them actually looked pretty good. But you just have to kind of see your team then and now. But there is this whole, is there an age wall? Is there a carry wall? Like Frank Gore and Adrian Peterson, got to make people nervous just because they are in that running back end of career zone. But hey, talent, right?
Yeah, I mean, they are, but I'm far more willing to, spend $18 on Frank Gore. And his price has gone up a little bit because people have seen the interest there. But early on, you were getting Frank Gore for $20, which is good in my opinion. Instead of paying $40 for Adrian Peterson, I mean, that to me that makes more sense. I think Frank Gore is going to be excellent. It may just be a 1 year, or maybe even just an 8 to 10 game thing, but I mean, I think that it's definitely worth the allocation of resources.
You gotta allocate your resources. Hot takes here, flaming
All the
with
hot takes.
fuegos. So I thought, well, a lot of shows do this, but why not? This is week 1. We should, go through the games, but maybe just talk about our own personal fantasy issues we have with each game.
Sure.
So we start tomorrow night, a not been in the news very much New England Patriots hosting the suddenly looking a lot more decimated Pittsburgh Steelers. So
yeah,
what kind of exposure do you have on both sides, and what do you think of this matchup?
I have. First of all, just let me say the angry Tom Brady narrative tomorrow is going to be vomit-inducing. So I basically intend to avoid everyone and probably start day drinking early. On the Patriots side, I have Tom Brady as my quarterback in the latest fantasy league that I participated in. That was conducted after the news came down about the vacation of his suspension. Uh, Otherwise, I think I own Aaron Dobson in one league, and I dropped Brandon. I had somehow ended up with Brandon LaFell, which I never intended to draft him. I've dropped him. So I think that's all I've got from the Patriots. Now, on the Steelers side, I'm invested in Antonio Brown in 3 or 4 leagues. I do have Martavis Bryant. Of course, he's suspended.
Woo-hoo.
And the interesting thing, I took a late round flyer. I think it was like my last pick, and I forget which league it was, but Dre Archer, because he looked good at times in the preseason. So I took a little flyer on him. And I have Marcus Wheaton. I did draft Marcus Wheaton in a couple of leagues. So I don't have Ben as my quarterback anywhere. And Le'Veon Bell was just so expensive. You just had I didn't want to allocate my resources like that. Although, I mean, maybe I should have, because I probably overpaid for Melvin Gordon in one auction that I did. And who else did I paid a lot for Antonio Brown. There was somebody else. Excuse
Paid
me,
a lot for a lot of players.
Yeah, that I spent a lot of money on. So that's basically it.
Well, I think the whole idea in fantasy is to try to diversify. So
I do.
someone who has
I
a
do
bunch
own
of teams.
I own D'Angelo Williams in a league. I forgot. Sorry. My bad.
I'm pretty sure that if I have Le'Veon Bell in 2 or 3 leagues, I probably have D'Angelo Williams in both of them. I definitely have them in our auction league, where I have, oh boy, I have Le'Veon Bell, Eddie Lacy, woohoo, and then our favorite guy,
Yeah.
Jimmy Shahi.
It might have actually been Eddie Lacy that I paid 40 or 40 plus bucks for him somewhere. I was like, because I think what it was is I was like, haven't had a chance to get him. Gosh darn it, I'm getting him.
Yes, that's what happens before you hit the brandy, right? I'm getting him. He's my
Or
man.
Or
yes.
after.
Well, we get these messages, and sometimes we don't listen to them, and one of them is just do not draft a Bill Belichick running back. So what do? I take a bunch of Jonas Gray late in drafts, and he gets cut. And I think the Titans actually worked him out this week, because the Titans are going triple option right now.
Yeah, right.
We're not ready for the Titans yet. That's
Well, it was interesting.
Get excited.
While I was waiting on you, there's a story circulating around out there. I didn't click on it or RT it or anything. That basically said they sandbagged in the preseason, and what you're going to see, they're like misleading everybody. Anyway, sorry, I thought I'd throw that out there.
The Titans have been sandbagging since 2009, so we got that going on.
The Sandbaggers. I'm totally naming my next fantasy team the Sandbaggers.
That's good. Yeah, with the Patriots, I think Dion Lewis might be their leading running back this week, or Brandon Bolden or James White are their 12. they have as many like third down backs as the Titans have tight ends. So it's basically ignore the run game. And from what I heard, the Steelers, as bad as they were in defense, actually were a pretty good run. So they're just going to throw all day. So my 4 or 5 really, really late Danny Amendola shares are looking really good. I'm starting him in the Scott Fish Bowl. So,
Are you? Okay.
but you have to start like 5 receivers in that league because you have 11 starting guys, and only like a fifth of my Scott Fish Bowl like picks got injured or.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's the league where I have Nordy Jelson.
Nordy Jelson.
Nordy Nelson.
He's my man. Why I went high, I have no idea. Yeah, I took Tom Brady like in one league, but it was so early on that I think I took Garoppolo with the last pick, so that was a waste. And didn't get any Roethlisberger. When I took 2 number 1 picks in an NFL 10 and a 25, one of them I took Antonio Brown. So I have him, I think, twice. And I had probably Martavis Bryant a couple times, and of course Le'Veon Bell. So, I mean, in terms of fantasy intrigue, this is definitely one of the top ones. I'm pretty sure in one league I drafted Brandon LaFell approximately 12 seconds before the announcement that he was going on the PUP. It was in the 12th round, so it wasn't like I wasted a major pick, but it still was, come on.
I know. That I hate that. I hate that.
Also drafted Monte Ball about 10 seconds after I heard a rumor that he was going to be picked up by the Cowboys. And guess who he's been picked up by? Nobody. Dang it. Okay,
yeah, I think I paid $1 for him in 2 separate best ball leagues. So I'm cheering for a Monty Ball signing. So I think that he will end up on a roster. We'll see. I mean, you know there are going to be injuries, so.
So let's try a little over-under game. So
did you see?
Under, how many shares of Jay Cutler do you own? 0 or 0?
I own 1.
1. Me too. Woohoo!
He's my backup in one of my leagues.
Well, I have this dominant.
Behind Cam, I believe.
I have a dominant quarterback trio in the going for 2 auction of Jay Cutler, Ryan Fitzpatrick, and Ty God Taylor. We'll get to him.
Ty God. I love Team Ty God.
Exactly. But I'm hearing 2 receivers that I have a pretty good amount of shares, Alshon Jeffrey and Mike Evans, and it doesn't seem like either of them are practicing yet, so that's a little bit nervous when you have a guy get hurt in the preseason. You're like, it's the preseason, hold him out. And then it's like Wednesday of the first week, and they're still not practicing, and you're like, okay, funny joke's over. Come on.
Yeah. At this point, you've got to start getting concerned about Mike Evans. Absolutely. It's been sort of hush-hush. He hasn't practiced. It's definitely entering. I would say I always get my DEFCONs mixed up. 5 is the worst, right? So it's maybe DEFCON 2.
Not good. But so the Packers.
Packers!
Don't you love it when the NFL teams do things that just annoy fantasy people, and you think they do it on purpose?
What, with James Jones?
The Packers signed the corpse of James Jones. Sorry, James Jones, you're probably 10 years younger than me. But in NFL terms, you're a fossil. And I think you got cut by the Giants and didn't the Raiders? Ugh. Anyway, so that could hurt our combined 50 Devontae Adams shares.
Yeah, right. I don't know. I know a lot of people subscribe to that theory. Obviously, Jordy Nelson's out for the year. Randall Cobb's, dinged up. The Patriots, fuck me. The Packers.
Quite a night.
The Packers.
Focus.
Like to go 3, 3 wide, 4. I mean, they'll rotate and utilize their receivers. I'm not so sure that James Jones doesn't impact the tight end position because I think that he'll see a lot of slot and I think that those are the targets that he's going to take. And it's an interesting dilemma because obviously there's familiarity with Aaron Rodgers and when Aaron Rodgers was throwing him the football on a semi-regular basis, he was, a good third, fourth option.
So was James Jones with the Packers during the first George Bush era, or
I
when was
don't
that? It
remember. He's
feels
what,
like
an
it was a
8-year
while back.
veteran. I think he's an 8 or 9 year veteran. You act like he's gonna start creaking any day. I mean, wide receivers have a longer shelf life than unless they've been injured or get arrested for killing their pregnant girlfriend and stuffing her.
Oops.
Anyway, I'm sorry. What?
What did I? I don't know when that came from. Yeah, Richard Rodgers just jumped up from like a 20th round pick to like a
It was
14th round
crazy.
pick. Actually, I think I may have seen him in the 13th round in some of these drafts. And oh, by the way, quick, I'm drinking a Wild Heaven Eschaton. This is a quad, very heavy beer, very delicious, but don't have more than one. You got to drink it
I am
slow.
drinking an Imperial Stout.
And you never go with you go with the big beers.
I do. But I've got some lighter beers. I've got the combination burp hiccups, which is like the worst.
Sweet.
I bought some of the beer that you like from Nashville, which is Blackstone Brewery's their nut brown ale.
Sometimes you feel like a nut. Yep.
It's good. It's got a little chocolatey flavor to it. It's good.
So Aaron Rodgers going to tear it up despite his slightly decimated wide receiver core. As everybody likes to use the word.
I mean, I think that Aaron Rodgers is going to Aaron Rodgers. I do think that they're going to run the football. I mean, they've got one of the best backs in the league. Why would you not?
James Starks.
I actually have a share of James Starks. Yeah, I mean the handcuff that I went with was the Todd Gurley, Trey Mason, and screw me, neither one are playing this
that
week.
Is so funny.
I mean, God.
I think I did have one league.
Fisher stays trolling my fantasy team.
Yeah, it was Le'Veon Bell, and I think I took because I didn't get Mason in many leagues. I just don't. I don't know. I think it's that whole Rams crappy offensive line situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, Benny Cunningham, who I don't even think I bet in the 30 drafts of Scott Fishbowl where you can draft 22 players, no defense, no kickers, Benny Cunningham may have been taken once.
No, nobody took him. You're right. Maybe one
Harry
time.
Douglas got drafted, people.
I drafted Harry Douglas.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. Yeah.
I paid like $1 or $2 for Harry Douglas in a best ball league, and I think that's going to end up being my best value.
Well, he did receive Mariota's first touchdown pass ever, which doesn't count as preseason. Anyway, sorry. So the next two games I see on the NFL.com list are two games that probably will excite everybody for their fantasy potentials. Chiefs and Texans, and then the Browns and the Jets.
PU.
Wow. I mean, Travis Kelce, I have him 2 or 3 times. I don't know. I think I took Arian Foster like once or twice, but other than that, I didn't get DeAndre Hopkins anywhere.
I've got Travis Kelce. It was auto drafted to me. I own 2 or 3 shares of Macklin. That is all the Chiefs. That is all the Chiefs that I own. On what was the other team? Who are they playing again? Oh, the Texans.
The Texans.
I don't own any Texans. DeAndre Hopkins, I'm not saying it's not deserved, but he was going so high and for so much money that I just, didn't buy in.
You seem to be in the same realm as where like Mike Evans.
No, wait, I do have Nate Washington. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I think I paid $1 for Nate Washington.
Nate Washington will probably have like 2 or 3 weeks where he actually has good fantasy numbers. These are number 2, baby.
Well,
Brian Hoyer, who occasionally throws.
I was like, do I want to spend $2 on Nate Washington, or do I want to spend like 10 or 12 on who's the I mean, people were paying money for their rookie guy, and I was like, I like him, but
Yeah, well, you do have a soft spot for the rookies. You like them young.
I apparently just like the running backs, though.
Oh, and Browns and Jets. Okay, so here's the following move I did not make in my local draft. I had Isaiah Crowell, and I was going to let him go to pick up Danny Woodhead, but after Terrence Wentz got cut, and with Duke Johnson's concussion issues, I
He didn't
held on
get
to
cut. He got
Crowell.
traded.
Oh, he got traded, yes, for the elusive.
Your team bought him.
That's another
for
bucket
a
list
6th round
item
conditional
to
pick.
be traded for a conditional pick. That is a bucket list item. Just saying.
Yes.
The conditions will be very high. Anyway, so Crowell against the DUI'd Jets. Maybe he might do something.
Yeah. I don't think I own any. I stayed away from the Browns backfield situation. I just was not ever. I knew it would be a committee regardless, and I wasn't convinced. And I do think that Terrence West, though, with that trade, I like him a lot better. I think he's got more value. I think that Bishop Sankey, what his struggles last year weren't entirely his fault, but I mean, I think that we know how Ken Whisenhunt likes to use his running backs. I think that Terrence West is going to, be in that mix, and it would not shock me if he didn't vulture some touchdowns. Now, as for the Jets, I've got Eric Decker in one league. That's it.
I wish I had the exact stat. This is Rich Rebar, who's Mr. Stat. I think he said that out of the 170 touches that Sankey had last year, 2 were on third down. So he does not have a high ceiling. But hey, we're not even on them. Yeah, Fitzmagic. I have him in one league, but that was desperation.
And I don't have Fitzmagic. Not that I would have. I mean, I wouldn't have hesitated. It wasn't ever in a situation where it was presented to me.
Now, next game, 2 years ago, the big DFS move was one Terrell Pryor for the Oakland Raiders starting against the Colts, who put up a great game, including a bunch of running yards. So this year, history
repeat itself. 98-yard rushing touchdown was beautiful.
As the Colts head to the Buffalo Bills, and I hear LaShawn McCoy's playing, so that could be something because I don't know what the deal is with the running backs beside him. And a running quarterback, so Sammy Watkins, and the Colts.
I had forgotten. Zach reminded me I do own a share of Terrell Pryor. My apologies. I was afraid he was going to get cut. He was injured in the preseason. I was like, anyway. The Bills. I own Carlos Williams in one league, and I have he's going to be their number 2. I have Robert Woods. I picked up for like $1 or $2 in a couple of best ball leagues. Percy Harvin's not going to stay. I think that'll be another good value pick for me because Percy Harvin's not healthy already and won't stay healthy, and will probably clock a teammate soon, and that'll be the end of his NFL career. And so, I mean, who knows? What was the other team? I'm sorry.
The Colts.
Oh, the Colts. Oh, yes. I own Andre Johnson in 4 leagues, and Frank Gore in like 2 or 3. Yeah, baby.
Starting Frank Gore in the local keeper league, but I had to say this: if I had the budget to jokingly buy people jerseys, I would definitely get Sharona a Bryce Brown Tennessee Vols jersey because they're out there somewhere. Did he even play for them? Maybe 2 games?
I think he played a couple of games, yeah. Oh, Bryce Brown.
But I remember him fondly because I picked him up like in the 6th round of a rookie draft and started him in a playoff game. And that was that crazy game where he ran for like 200 yards and fumbled like 3 times. and I
Sort of like
rallied
Bobby
to
Rainey.
win. It was, oh yeah, we love Bobby Rainey. He's still in the roster, right? Anyway, never forget, never. So the Dolphins versus the horribly named Washington team.
Yeah, I talked about the Washington Redskins on my podcast this morning.
Did you?
Um,
All the feels.
yeah, I've got Jordan Reed in one or two leagues. I think that's it for the Redskins. And who are they playing again?
Dolphins.
The Dolphins. Oh, yes, I've got Jarvis Landry in like three or four leagues. I own a lot of him. I don't have any Tannehill. Oh, and I've
JJ, right? I
yes,
have about 4 shares, I think.
J.I. screwing me over. Yes,
Yay!
I own way too much of J.I. and that turned out to be a bad decision. I should choose more wisely.
Well, quick true story, and I really do want to do a column every week of weird pickups in fantasy leagues.
I like it.
In our league, we had an owner who didn't show up to the draft, so we drafted for him. He didn't leave a like a list or anything, so we drafted pretty poorly for him. He dropped Cincinnati's defense and picked up Washington's defense, which made us think, drafting him, Tim Tebow, was actually we did him a favor. So I'm hoping that I can pick up the Bengals on the waiver
Well, there
boomerang,
you go.
but you have to wait like 3 days. Stupid rules. Anyway, so next game, this is fantasy kryptonite. Panthers at the Jaguars. What? Get in the pool, everybody.
I own a lot of. I've probably owned T.J. Yeldon in three or four leagues. I own Allen Robinson. I think that's all of the Jags that I own. And who was the other team?
Panthers. So between two of us, we have Cam Newton in every league.
I've got Cam Newton a
And
lot. I
I
do.
had one Kelvin Benjamin share. I think so did you.
I did. I had a Kelvin Benjamin, and I own Jonathan Stewart in a couple of leagues, and I've got Devin Funchess in one league.
Bunches of Funches. He's not even starting.
I know.
Ted Ginn and Jericho Cotchery, right? Oh boy. I actually got Bortles just because he was always like the last starting quarterback off the board. And, like in best ball league, you can, forgive yourself because you're not actually putting that person in the starting lineup, so you feel better. And next we have the last 1:00 game, an NFC West clash. Seahawks at Jeff Fisher, Rams.
Yeah. Thank you, Jeff Fisher, for once again screwing my fantasy team. I missed you, buddy. I missed the days when I would draft Vince Young and Kenny Britt
Gosh.
and Jared Cook and watch you poop the bed. I do not own any Rams wide receivers. Oh no, wait! I do own Stedman Bailey. I have 2 or 3 shares of Stedman. I really probably invested way too much in Todd Gurley and Trey Mason, neither of whom are going to see the field this week. So yeah, so that's the Rams and Seahawks. I've got Tyler Lockett in one league, I think,
Love me some
and
Lockett. Love it.
I've got Beast Mode. I spent like $45 on Beast Mode in one league.
Is a pretty good, even though I don't really like the show anymore. The league has a pretty good promo involving Beast Mode, so check that out. But if you watch anything on YouTube, you'll see it 50 times, so you'll be just fine. Yeah, it's the Seattle low volume offense against the Rams, pretty good defense, which means, kickers. Go Kickers. Now,
Kickers are people too.
We're getting to the late games at 4:05 Eastern Time. Saints at Cardinals, which probably is one of the two good late games.
Saints. I own Drew Brees in one league. It's a best ball league. That's it for the Saints. Saints and who?
Cardinals.
Cardinals. Oh yeah, I've got
John
John
Brown.
Brown in
John Brown. John Brown. John Brown.
2 or 3 leagues. I stayed away from Fitz. I do own several shares of David Johnson. I own some Andre Ellington too.
Any Chris
That's it.
Johnson?
I
None?
do not. No, no
No
Christian.
CJWTFK?
I'm trying to be good. I'm trying to be a better person. So
Toward the end of a couple of my drafts, I did get Kiri Robinson with CJ Spiller, not surprisingly, out. I mean, Mark Ingram, I have a couple leagues too, because those MFL 10s, people go nuts with running backs. There's nobody left at the 2-3 turn. So, yeah, Mark Ingram, baby. Probably get a touchdown. I don't know. Carson Palmer, it's just his knee. I don't know. People, sometimes you go a little crazy about stats that don't have a lot of depth to them. I mean, he played, 6 games last year, and he put up great numbers, but I'm pretty sure Kevin Jones got overdrafted after his rookie year for 8 good games. So, I don't know. I don't know. And I didn't draft him in any league. And if I didn't draft a guy in any league, something wrong, because I drafted 10 teams. Isn't that bad when you look at the end and you keep seeing how many teams you drafted and you're like, what was I doing in the last 2 months? Non-stop drafting, right?
yeah, I was worn out. I'm glad it's all over. I'm like, but I'm in 11 leagues this year, and I don't ever want to do that again.
Well, the only saving grace I have is that out of all the drafts I did, I only have 3 where I actually have to submit a lineup every week. And a ton of MFL 10s, a ton of best ball, basically. Like, oh, I drafted, now I'm finished. Yay. No waivers, no problem. But you might have a problem if you have Melvin Gordon this week, right? Chargers, Lions, a lot of Danny Woodhead talk. But you love you some rookie.
I own a lot of Melvin Gordon.
Will you start Melvin Gordon?
I own Danny Woodhead. It's interesting, and it the difference between training camp and third or fourth preseason game and your draft strategy is always fascinating to me. Early on, I was like Brandon Oliver, but now it does look like, at least early on, it's probably going to be Danny Woodhead. I do think I own Brandon Oliver in a couple of leagues. I think that by midseason, it's going to be the rookie show, the young running back show, and Danny Woodhead's going to be relegated to a matchup specific, more matchup specific. I mean, I could be wrong, and I do own. I always hedge my bets with the backup option, but I own Antonio Gates in 2 or 3 leagues, so there is that too. Phillip Rivers was interesting to me because in terms his ADP, I thought, was ridiculously low. So he was a great value.
I don't think I took him in any league. I definitely didn't take Stafford. It seemed like Stafford either went in the 7th round or the 13th. Everybody saw that he had all these weapons last year and didn't really do that much. I just have this fantasy theory that if you have a quarterback on a team with a really good defense, they don't have to score a lot of points. So they had a really good defense last year, so Stafford didn't have to do that much. So yeah, I didn't do much with Stafford. I think I did Amir Abdullah once before his price went through the roof. And of course, I had a few Joik. Go to the Joik store, not so good. And even I think Calvin once dropped me at the end of the second. Other than that, Stevie Johnson, of course, of the Chargers.
Oh, you know what? I don't own any Stevie Johnson. A lot of people are higher on him than I am. I own some Abdullah. I think I own Golden Tate maybe in one league. He was going pretty high too. I own Eric Ebron in one league. So yeah. I mean, I didn't buy very heavily into the Lions. I did the Chargers. I've got several Chargers played. I would have picked up, and that's kind of the thing. As I kept drafting and going through, familiarizing myself with the different interfaces, I learned to check. I probably would have taken Rivers had I been really paying attention. It was just that you had to scroll down for it.
Where is he? He's gone. I'd always end up with like a Romo or a Brady instead of him, or I would wait until he was gone and get one of your favorite players, Jameis Winston. Hey, look at that next game, 425. If it weren't for a Raiders game, this would definitely be the lowest percentage of the country getting a game. Titans at Buccaneers, number 1 versus number 2, and I saw one article that showed all the number 1, number 2 quarterbacks of all time, and only once the number 2 was better, and that was Donovan McNabb. So I hope we got our Donovan
But
McNabb.
who's number 1 and who's number 2, Zach? I mean, Marcus Mariota is
Oh,
number 1 in our heart, right?
he's in a heart somewhere. Sure, if I had a heart, it grew, but I don't know. I see. At first, I was like, well, Jameis Winston clearly famous Jameis against Titans. Probably missing their top cornerback, Parrish Cox, going against Vincent Jackson or Mike Evans or anybody who's
Well, Mike Evans is
NFL
not going to play
skilled.
now, so I mean,
Oh, don't say that. That hurts me deep. You know, if I can't start Mike Evans in my dynasty league, I'm probably starting like Taylor Gabriel. So I'm just this has to happen, man. This has to. But I think a sloppily played, low-scoring game is probably going to happen. You know, what did you call it? The whiz offense, which I think pretty much encapsulates the Titans very well in terms of our confidence.
it's a trap.
In the opener last year against the Cowboys, in their first drive, they used 4 different running backs, and you know they're going to do it again this year. I mean, the Titans have 5 running backs, although I think they count that 4th round rookie in the group. And then I feel you get a feeling for what it's like when you're on the end of an NFL roster. Chase Kaufman, proud of Missouri, won the Mackey Award for best tight end on and off rosters for years. Titans, he made the Titans roster on Saturday. On Sunday, he was cut by the Titans for some scrub they picked up. And then 2 days later, he's back on the team. The Titans have 5 tight ends on their roster and 4 wide receivers. So that
Which
means
tells you
Anthony
everything you need to know about
Fasano in 4
Wizball.
wide. Oh, gosh. Yeah, against the Falcons, and maybe they were just taking it easy. They had 4 wides, and I'm pretty sure Anthony Fasano and like Dexter McCluster were 2 of the 4. Of course, Hakeem Nicks was still on the team. Oh,
Yeah.
Hakeem Nicks! Oh, too soon. Don't be selling his jersey.
Yeah, I mean, I never really. People were pumping him up for fantasy, and I was like, for why?
Who is that? They need to be made fun more of it than the people who ask me for advice. Sorry, people ask me for advice. Love
Well,
you.
I mean, no, I guess I understand the thought process, except that he's just not good.
He's had too many injuries, kind of like Andy Levitre. Oh my gosh, hey, they
Who
got a
got
pick for him.
traded?
Yeah, I know. We'll be getting there in a sec. So yeah, the Bucks don't seem to have a very good offensive line. Titans, So probably the Bucks. What is it? 3-2. What do you think?
No, I mean, I think that it'll be. Where is it again? Is it Nashville or Tampa?
Tampa. Titans have had a home opener in week 1 in at least 4 years.
I would say it's in Tampa, which doesn't really change anything. Their home crowds aren't 21-17.
Now it is true though. In the past 2 years, the Titans have gone on the road and beaten a playoff team the year before on the road.
Oh yeah, they beat the Chiefs
Beating the Chiefs, the Steelers,
Yeah.
2 of the more inexplicable results of the year, considering how they did the rest of the year. So who knows? Maybe Wisenhunt's got that week 1 thing figured out.
Well, he wasn't the one who beat the Steelers. That was under the hated and dreadful Mike Munchak.
Oh, we miss him. He's so cute. Now he's where he needs to be. he's found his happy place.
It's like a cute, cuddly teddy bear. A
Exactly.
Tedly bear.
So if you
Cuddly
want
bear.
fantasy excitement, talk about Bengals Raiders. Because Derek Carr, fuck the car. Do it.
I own Derek Carr. He's my backup in 1 or 2 leagues. I don't own any Mari Cooper. I own a share of McCall Rivera.
Tennessee Vols.
Oh, I own 2 shares of Latavius Murray.
Ouch.
I think that's all the Raiders. Who was the other team again?
The Bengals.
The Bengals. I do not own. No, I have Jeremy Hill. I own Jeremy Hill in 1 or 2 leagues.
I don't know if I ended up getting him. I grabbed Marvin Jones kind of early, but it seems like he's kind of tailed off. And I know I got AJ Green a couple times because I felt like second round seemed like a good value. And even though Andy Dalton, the Ginger Ninja, I feel like he was underrated. I still don't think I got him in any leagues. Like I got Alex Smith like twice, but I didn't get Andy Dalton. So I don't even know. I don't know what to say. I can't explain myself. Bet the under, but it's probably like 7. And then we have the Baltimore Ravens versus the Denver is Peyton Manning finished Broncos. How many Peyton shares? Are you a true Peyton believer?
I do not have any Peyton shares. I own 1 share of CJ Anderson, 1 or 2 shares of Demaryius Thomas. That's all the Broncos that I have.
Yeah, I can only pick up really deep guys in my Dynasty League. It's the only thing I'm good at. I can't draft to save my life, but I got CJ Anderson really early. I got Joey Bell before. I got Victor Cruz, and I was really happy about that until like last year. But yeah, CJ Anderson, I feel like he's going to be good. Ravens, I think in my last MFL 10 pick of the entire summer was Kamar Aiken. Woo!
Oh, okay. I don't own any Ravens, I don't think. No. I own Steve Smith in at least 1 league.
Everybody wants Steve Smith on their team.
I'm going to miss Scrappy Steve Smith, the Scrapster.
Yeah, watch the Titans sign him next year. Oh,
Yeah,
guy.
I don't think he would do that. I just don't. Maybe.
Well, the Titans are 1 guy away from being the first NFL team to have all quarterback numbers of their receivers, but that's only because they have 4. So the night game, and I know a certain friend of the show will be waterfalling at that point. Giants at Cowboys. The excitement will.
Well, let's see. I, despite being part of the hype, I was part of the hype machine. I own no Christian Michael shares. Seems like I might have taken Dunbar somewhere at some point. I do not own any Des Bryant. I own Jason Witten. I don't own any Tony Romo. So that's it for the Cowboys. Who was the other team?
The New York Football Giants.
The Giants. I do not own any Giants.
Eli. Kind of Eli, and then that crazy running back trio thing. I guess Beckham is going to get 500 targets this year because they don't seem to have any other receivers. Dez, of course, true love, but I think I only got him in my keeper league. I don't know if I have anywhere else, and I'm sure I have Romo like in 1 or 2 places. But Cole Beasley, I got him a couple times.
Oh, you know what? I do have Cole Beasley. I'm sorry.
Kind of at the end there, and even Jason Witten seems relatively cheap.
I have 2 shares
Marcus
of Cole
Colston
Beasley.
Of tight ends.
And I was able to get Cole for like $1 in 2 different auction leagues. I thought that was good.
Such a braggart.
Is that bragging?
Maybe. Monday night. This game I am excited to watch. It's going to be local. Hell no, I'm not going. Eagles at Falcons. Now, the one stat from Mr. Rich Rebar that changed my lineup was the Eagles are predicted to score 28 points. I was going to start Eli Manning, and I had Sam Bradford. And once I saw that the Eagles were predicted to score 28 points, I said, I'm going to take Mr. Crickety knee guy. Just don't run into damn quarterback option, read option crap. Hand the ball off every time.
I think I own one or two shares. I know I own one share of Sam Bradford.
So I think this is all you need to know about the Falcons is that one of their starting offensive linemen was cut by the Rams. And another one was traded away by the Titans, Andy Levitre, who, by the way, was replaced by a guy who I don't think ever played guard in his NFL career, and he's way better. So Falcons, I know Tevin Coleman got announced starter, and some people are excited.
I was.
I think Julio and, Matt Ryan will be fine, and hopefully Roddy White, because I'm sure I drafted him 2 or 3 times, will actually play. But it's all Eagles all the time. It's Sam Bradford time. DeMarco Murray, you got love on that. I don't think I got like Darren Sproles once.
I don't own any
other running backs. I got Nelson, I got Aguilar, I got Jordan Matthews, Pride of Vanderbilt. Maybe once.
Jordan Matthews he was too rich for my blood. I avoided him, and I was like, who's this rookie wide receiver? I knew who he was, but I'm not buying. I'm not buying that high. Maybe next year, but not this year. He was good. It was ridiculous. It was just ridiculous. He is the Logan Thomas of wide receivers.
Ooh, wow. Well, I think the 2 times I got Aguilar was in the Scott Fish Bowl where quarterbacks go high, and I think I took him in the 8th round. In my local draft where everybody was drunk, and I think I got him like in the 8th round of a keeper league. So, yeah, of course I'm going to take him. But I don't think I'll start him. Deshaun Jackson and Allen Robinson are right. Oof. Anyway, so the late game, starting at 10:20, lots of people might be a little tired going into work on Tuesday. Vikings makes us look tough because we're wearing black for no apparent reason. San Francisco / Santa Clara 49ers.
I've bought heavily into the Vikings. I've got Teddy Bridgewater on 3 or 4 leads. I own 3 or 4 shares of Charles Johnson. Yes, I own at least 2 shares of Cordarrelle Patterson. I own some Jerick McKinnon. The Niners. Yes, I own 2 or 3 shares of Carlos Hyde, and I own a couple of shares of Vernon Davis. And I have some Anquan Bolden and some Torrey Smith.
I feel like that should be a pull quote from the show. If he played at the University of Tennessee and he's terrible, Sharona's got him on a fantasy team.
I don't own any. Wait, one maybe Justin Hunter team. I don't think I own any Justin Hunter this year.
Yeah.
Maybe one.
I'd have like one 80-yard touchdown this year. Then nothing else. But yeah, Adrian Peterson in my keeper league, and I drafted him once, number 1, and I own him in MFL 10, so that'll go well. Charles Johnson, once again, the RotoViz freaks loved him like his rookie year, and I grabbed him. I think it was with the Browns in my dynasty league. You'd think with all these guys I got out of nowhere I'd be good, but yeah, I'm fair to middling. Colin Kaepernick, pretty sure I didn't draft him anywhere. Definitely Carlos Hyde, I just no interest at all. Even Reggie Bush, I didn't get anywhere. And I mean, Torrey Smith was so cheap. And I think Anquan Bolden kind of crept up, but he still was like an 8th, 9th round pick. And he'll probably have a boring 1,000-yard season, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Mike Wallace, I think I have him like 3 or 4 times.
I avoided Mike Wallace. I own no Mike Wallace.
And
I do own Kyle Rudolph. I forgot. I've got a couple of shares. Kyle Rudolph.
That completes week 1. So, in conclusion, any smack talk for Jersey Jen in your Scott Fish Bowl matchup of the century?
I just want to know what the over-under is on how many times I will change that roster before the pin drops. Well, is there a deadline, by the way? How does that work? I don't do.
I hope it's like most leagues in that you have to start your Thursday guys Thursday, and then you have until Sunday. Because that's a pet peeve, and I forgot to bring this up. leagues that don't do pre-week one waivers, I needed some damn waivers. I mean, I drafted two.
Yeah.
I drafted two New England Patriots who got cut before the season. I had Jonas Gray in my starting lineup this morning. I had to change it. That's how bad it was. Like I could have really. I mean, it's time for people to spend some crazy because we do free agent bucks in that league on like James Jones. But to wait until week two, it's kind of crazy. I had to make a trade in my dynasty league because I found out one of my defensive backs was injured and I couldn't do any pickups because there aren't any. So that's a kind of annoying. But yeah. So you ready for? Are you going to be like 12-0 this week, undefeated? Is that your feel?
Only 11. For some reason, I didn't make it into the last league. Um,
Which
yeah, I
league
mean,
was
it's
that?
every year. I like as I'm going through, I'm like, I'm not necessarily sure I like how this is going and all of that. But then when I go to start my lineups, put my starting lineups in, I'm always like, ooh, I kind of like this team. I always like my fantasy teams. But I go in that, I mean, that's for me, that's the thing. I mean, I want to win. I'm as competitive as anybody. But for me, the number one thing is for me to like my fantasy team.
Well, you might as well be optimistic because there's a bunch of stuff's going to happen we're not going to be able to predict. I looked because I saved the page because MFL sporadically kicks me out of all my leagues. I have
It really does. It's like, what's up?
I have like 18 leagues, but 8 of them were mocks, so only 10 are real. And out of those 10, one I have to draft. Oh, two, sorry. It's Scott Fishbowl and my Dynasty League. And of course, my local league, which is the only league I have that isn't MFL, and it's on CBS, and we only have it there because we've been there for 15 years. Otherwise, screw that noise.
So am I calling the MFLs where, you're it's based on points? I call them best balls. Is that not the proper usage?
Yep, that's correct. It's best
Okay.
ball and it's cumulative, so I'm pretty sure that's the thing. I played one league last year and I broke even because I came in second, which means I got a free league this year. So this year I'm in how many MFL 10s? So it looks like I'm in 5 MFL 10s and 1 MFL 25. So I'm gonna either win or lose this year. I'm hoping to take at least one of those. Come on. I actually found that because the first MFL 10s I did, I would tell people on Twitter, and somehow I managed to get in almost every MFL 10 and the auction we did, like out of 12 owners, like 8 of them were in the top 50 for total number MFL 10s. And so the last 2 were public and
Oh yeah.
random people, and they were timing out left and right. And I feel like my odds are better. So don't announce you're going to be in MFL 10 because you just get the hashtag degenerates. And those people know what they're doing, or, well, anyway, they like to have fun. So, Sharona, what is happening? You got this here, other shows going on? You fully booked every night with show bays, whatever they call them these days?
Days. I had a really good show this morning. We talked about the Broncos and the Redskins, and of course Patriot Gate, and we talked about Jen Welter and Floyd Mayweather. It was really fun. Took Monday off for the long holiday. Last night we had the Zone Blitz. No more shows this week. I've got
What?
a podcast that I'm going to be appearing on soon. I'll be tweeting out the details on that. So just follow me on Twitter at Sports by Sharona. You can keep up with me there.
Yeah, I thought I had reached a major milestone when I reached 65,000 tweets, but you're still more than twice ahead of me. You're 140K, dang.
Hi, I'm
I just
Sharona,
need
and I'm
to
an overtweeter.
I just need to retweet everything you post, and then I'll at least be even. But I just can't.
And no,
I would
it's
get carpal
ridiculous.
tunnel just from that one thing.
It's ridiculous.
Sports by Sharona. Find
Sports
her,
by
follow
Sharona.
her, be happy. Quick pet update. How things going? Have they been eaten by wolves yet?
Yeah, I was going to actually leave the kittens in here and let everybody. They got to meet the audience of the Zone Blitz last night, but they were getting out of control before the show started, and I was like, it'll just have to wait. I think they needed. I'm starting because you guys know I've not ever had kittens. I'm not a cat person. I don't know anything about cats. I mean, I went and got kitten food, so they've got food which my dog wants to eat. By the way, but I don't. I'm trying to potty train them, but I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm looking for their tails because there's been some incidents, and I kind of sort of thought because there was some farting going on that there might be a need to go outside. So that's what we did.
Kittens, they fart a
They
lot.
do. True story.
That is the underrated aspect of something that happens with kittens. Just get used to it.
And they are
They're like kids.
nasty.
They don't smell so good.
Nasty.
Yes. So I have officially, I think, decided I'm going to stop trying so hard to get all of the Scott Fishbowl interviews. I'm probably like 120 away, and I've already sent 3 emails to each person. So hey, if you haven't got it by now, you're just considered dead to me. Anyway,
Yeah.
we'll see. They're trickling in. A few people who are like, come on, man, I know you. Why haven't you? Everybody's so busy because everybody's doing
They
podcasts all the
are.
time and writing for sites and
We all love you,
whatever it
Zach.
is you people do who actually
Mhm.
do this thing. So yeah, Zach Law Online. I actually did a little catch up on my teams. How many Kelvin Benjamin shares did I have? I think I had 1 Jordy Nelson, but yeah, just taking a look at those teams and going, wow, what was I thinking? Or hey, my team's actually better now. It was fun, but it took a while because I have so many teams. But I'm glad that are a bunch of best balls. But as usual, so thanks to everybody. Follow me on Twitter.
Thanks,
It's a lot of
everybody.
fun. It's this nonstop ride. And thanks for Sharona for putting up with me. Beer helps. So thanks.